human beings often trust change only when they can see its outward results. Carl Jung viewed transformation through a much deeper lens. Before outer life changes, the inner structure of a person often has to change first, because the old way of living can no longer contain the new self that is beginning to take shape. Doubt often appears right before a turning point. Why the efforts no one has yet seen are still accumulating in the unconscious. Why what comes to you just before things get better may not be an answer, but a sign that you are ready to leave behind the old version of yourself in order to rewrite their lives. One person left a stable job to return to painting. Another, after years of living according to family expectations, began to realize they had never truly chosen their own life. Jung called this kind of encounter synchronicity. It does not mean that every coincidence is a message from the universe, nor does it require us to turn life into a chain of mystical signs. Sometimes an outer event touches precisely the movement already taking place within you, allowing you to recognize something you have felt for a long time but have not yet been able to name. Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Conscious remains unseen. It continues to quietly shape your choices. You may call it fate, personality, circumstance, or simply a strange feeling you cannot explain. A relationship has not yet completely fallen apart, but you no longer feel like yourself within it. A job still pays you regularly, but each day you step into it with the feeling that you are becoming smaller. Inside, you begin to feel as though you are using all your strength to maintain an image that has become too old. What exhausts you is not only waiting for results. What unsettles you more deeply is not knowing which part of yourself to trust. The part that feels something is about to open, or the part that fears you are only telling yourself a story to endure a little longer. Also know that the road behind you is no longer a place you can return to unchanged. This is a difficult point to stand in, because you do not yet have proof that things will get better, but you already have enough signs that the old way can no longer nourish you. Conscious often speaks precisely in this in-between place, not to force you into sudden action, but to stop you from deceiving yourself into believing that everything is still the same as before. And not to return to places that make you smaller. You have learned to look at doubt without letting it drive. You have learned not to turn love, success, or a new opportunity into another stage for old wounds to perform. So what is coming is a resonance between the person you are becoming and a life that no longer fits the old version of you. Readiness is when fear is still present. Breakthrough often begins right there, at the point where you stop living like someone abandoned by the future and begin living like someone being called toward it. According to Jung, a person does not enter a truer life by keeping everything within themselves unchanged. An old part must be seen. A buried part must be named. A part that once lived only to adapt must make room for the part that knows how to live more truthfully. What comes to you right before things get better may not be an outer miracle. It may be the moment you realize you no longer belong to the old version of yourself. When what is truly aligned finally comes, it came to someone who had gone through enough to no longer lose themselves when the door opened.